Rethinking Mental Health Stigma, a presentation about understanding, empathizing, and avoiding stigmatization of mental health. Created by nonprofit organization Rethink Mental Health Incorporated. Before we can understand and stop the stigma on mental health, we must first define the word stigma itself. A stigma is a mark of disgrace associated with a particular circumstance, quality, person, or group of people. It is something that takes away from one's character or reputation by negatively labeling or stereotyping them. It is a mark of shame or discredit. Now that we understand what the word stigma means, let's take a closer look at the various stigmas on mental health. The first is a false belief that mental and behavioral disorders are personally controllable, or that people can simply choose to be happier. The truth is, no one would choose to suffer in the way mental illnesses take hold of their victims. Most mental illnesses are caused by biological factors, life experiences, or a family history of mental health issues. While treatment can help people fully recover from mental health issues, it is much more complex and challenging than simply choosing to be happier. Another stigma is the false labeling of individuals with mental and behavioral illnesses as unequal, rare, or inferior. The truth is, approximately 1 in 5 adults in the US, that's 43.8 million people, experience mental illness in a given year. And these are just diagnosed mental illnesses, not including common mental health issues like grief, minor depression, anxiety, and more. The idea that mental health issues are rare is factually wrong. We all have mental health, just like physical health, that can improve or worsen throughout our experiences in life. Another stigma is the false belief that if individuals cannot get better on their own, they are seen to lack personal effort, are blamed for their condition, and are seen as personally responsible. The truth is, there is no one-size-fits-all treatment for all mental illnesses. Some mental illnesses require medication to be managed, others are treatable with therapy or lifestyle changes. Just as a cancer patient is not to blame for needing more or longer treatment than someone else, no mental health patient should be blamed or have their character put into question for the duration or level of treatment needed to improve their mental health. Another stigma is the false belief that people with mental disorders are frightening, unpredictable, and strange. The truth is, the vast majority of people with mental health problems are no more likely to be violent than anyone else. Most people with mental illnesses are not violent, and only 3 to 5% of violent acts can be attributed to individuals living with a serious mental illness. In fact, people with severe mental illnesses are over 10 times more likely to be victims of violent crime than the general population. The last stigma that we will discuss is the false belief that individuals with mental health issues never succeed at certain challenges or cannot improve their situation. The truth is, some people with mental health issues may face limitations, just like people with physical health issues. Limitations can be a direct result of the mental health condition they are experiencing, or a result of the treatment itself, like medication side effects. That being said, limitations are not necessarily permanent, and they do not prevent people with mental health issues from seeking success or improvements in their life. Now that we understand what the stigma on mental health is, let's take a closer look at what it does. What is the damage of the stigmatization of mental illness? When society stigmatizes mental health issues, people suffering from mental health issues are more reluctant to seek help or treatment. They're afraid to tell anyone about what they are experiencing. They have fewer opportunities in work, school, social activities, and even housing. And they are victims of bullying, violence, or harassment. Furthermore, when our society stigmatizes mental health, the people suffering from mental health issues do not receive adequate coverage from health insurance. Not only do people suffering from mental health issues feel stigmatized and judged from others, but they begin to judge and stigmatize themselves as well. This can often result in self-harm, isolation, and guilt, which only worsens their mental health condition. Ultimately, people suffering from mental health issues become more likely to commit suicide because they do not receive the treatment, support, or acceptance they deserve. We now understand what the stigma on mental health is, and we understand the extremely detrimental consequences of prolonging the stigmatization of mental health. So what do we do next? What active steps can be taken to reduce the stigmatization of mental health issues? Educate. Make an active effort to educate yourself on mental health issues, mental illnesses, warning signs, and treatment options. Separate the facts from the misconceptions to reduce stigmatization. Speak out. Now that you can separate fact from fiction, speak out against the stigma and stand up for those being discriminated against or marginalized. Empathize. Think about how you would want others to treat you if you struggled with mental health issues. Try to understand the struggle of those experiencing mental health issues by putting yourself in their shoes. Avoid labels. Do not equate people suffering with mental health issues as their mental illness. For example, instead of saying, "he is bipolar," phrase it as, "he is struggling with bipolar disorder." Compare. Consider the comparison of physical and mental illness. Ask yourself why you empathize, sympathize, and support those with physical illnesses differently than those with mental illnesses. Warning signs. Learn the warning signs of mental illness and help loved ones get help when they need it. People suffering from mental health issues may not be comfortable speaking openly, so keep an eye out for signs that they may need help. Accept the commonality. Accept the commonality of mental health issues. 1 in 5 people struggle with mental illness at any given time. With figures like that, mental health isn't a rarity, but a very common shared experience. Advocate. Be supportive to your friends, families, and coworkers so they know they can speak to you without judgment if they are experiencing tough times or mental health issues. Last but not least, connect. Make an effort to make genuine connections. People can hide their problems behind happy-looking social media posts if no one is willing to really ask how they are doing. So what happens next? What happens when our society, when our world, stops stigmatizing people suffering with mental health issues? The answer? It saves lives. When we rethink mental health and stop stigmatizing people who suffer with mental health issues, more people, if not all people, will be willing and able to speak openly about what they are experiencing and seek the professional help they may need without fear of judgment, discrimination, or harassment. When people suffering with mental health issues get the support and treatment they need, they can improve their condition and reduce, if not eliminate, the risk of self-harm, addictions, or suicide. Ultimately, stopping the stigma can and will save lives. Thank you for taking the first step to rethinking the stigma on mental health. This presentation was brought to you by Rethink Mental Health Incorporated, a nonprofit organization with a mission to promote mental health advocacy and education in an effort to eliminate the stigmatization of people suffering with mental illness. Through our many initiatives, we improve the way society treats and views mental health. As a result, more people can speak openly about what they are experiencing and seek professional help without fear of discrimination, stigmatization, or harassment. Visit www.rethinkstigma.org to learn more or support our mission.